everybody. Welcome to another episode of Defense of the Patients. We're a Dota 2 podcast, and you may or may not have had an intro. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah. If you do have an intro, it's because I decided to do it post.
Yeah.
Episode.
We started on it. Can we talk about it a little? I'm Cyphus, that's Roland. I almost said I'm Roland, that's Cyphus.
You're not me.
No, I'm not.
That's probably a good thing.
But
you don't.
You know, you were going in the. You've been talking about Beatles so much that I start. I am you, or I am we,
he as you are, he as we are,
we and we are all together.
That song is a pretty good song, but
why haven't we done that one? I am the Walrus Punch. You know?
I am the Walrus Punch. I am the Walrus Puncher. I am the Walrus Kicker.
So intros take longer than I think,
and they're underappreciated.
and they're not like I know we get shit
I
sometimes.
appreciate them.
I
So
like
I don't
the
give a
intros
fuck.
too.
Yeah.
But literally, we spent the last hour listening to because you were on an '80s kick and you're like, let's do an '80s
Aubrey
song.
has this new thing on Spotify where you get this new playlist once a week.
Yeah, the Discover Weekly. Yeah, it's awesome.
You kids love those things.
No, I do love Spotify.
I love Spotify. It has all my favorite oldies.
I even
on
like
there.
the Discover. It's geared to like what your musical tastes are, and it's funny because I went through like a big blues and jazz phase. So my Discover Weekly was all blues and jazz, and then I've been playing Dota, just listening to after watching Luke Cage. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go back and listen to all the old Wu-Tang albums, and I'm gonna go listen to like some real awesome old school hip hop.
RZA.
And now it's just rap. Like it's all rap all the time on my Discover Weekly at this point. But it's been good. I've been enjoying the fuck out of it. But so Rome's on this '80s kick.
No, my wife was, and then I happened to be an innocent bystander.
Now I'm a third degree bystander.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, who sings that? She's like Duran Duran, and I was like, wow.
This makes me
I'm
think
hungry
of
like a
Lycan.
wolf too.
So you did. So then we got on to Lola by the Kinks, and I was thrilled to have you bring that up because I love the Kinks.
Like that's like Luna. Luna.
For my money, I would rather listen to the Kinks than the Beatles.
I know. I remember having conversations in the car about that, and I was like, "You're wrong.
I would much rather listen to the Kinks than the Beatles.
You're trapped on an island with the Kinks or the Beatles. Definitely the Beatles."
And I would take the Kinks, especially because they have the best song for being trapped on an island, which is Ape Man.
Oh yeah, that's the Kinks. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man. Oh, I'm an ape man.
And Waterloo Sunset is just a beautiful song.
Well, you've named their 3 songs.
There are a ton of...
I know, I'm just joking. I don't think there's a battle like Kinks versus the Beatles.
A Dedicated Follower of Fashion is a fun, awesome song.
We know you like the Kinks.
No, I'm just
we
saying
know you know the Kinks.
If you haven't listened to the Kinks, you should go listen to the Kinks.
You know what, Cyphus? Shove it. When was the last time you heard that? Like, fucking 5th grade?
No, somebody told me to shove it last week in a Dota match.
Somebody told me to shove it over Twitter. And all I could think was like, Jesus, like I remember being on the playground, people telling me to shove it
because
you come full circle
because of giving me shit for the hero pool. Everybody's on my side on that.
Sure, whatever. I was talking to Proud about that, and I was like, did we talk about that? And he's like, I don't fucking remember. We probably talked about way cooler things than Cyphus hero pool.
Wow.
Like yeah,
I hate that.
Trust me, is shove it like in reference to your ass or your mouth?
I think either.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it goes either way. Like shove it, like stuff your mouth. Like
I gotta shove it. And it was specifically, it wasn't shove it, Denny, shove it Cyphus. It was shove it PA in a match recently, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh man,
everybody gets muted.
Shove it, dude.
Yep.
I mean,
that was Crooked Fafnir.
I laughed out loud when I saw that, dude, and I could feel his vitriol, but all it brought me was joy and laughter when he said it.
Yeah.
Crooked Fafnir.
Yeah, Roland Trump, man. That's who you're becoming on this podcast. Is
Apparently,
Roland Trump.
Well, scarily enough, I may be leading this podcast soon. We'll see in a couple of days.
Okay, all right. Here's the only thing I am going to allow because tomorrow is a huge day in the U.S. for our foreign listeners, for our listeners abroad.
Oh, they know. It's not like they don't.
I know
what's
everybody's
going on.
very well aware, but so tomorrow, Tuesday,
Show
November 8th,
featuring-
is election day. I don't want to get into politics. I think it's well understood what our personal viewpoints are. I don't want to delve into it. I know you feel
Wrong.
like
Wrong.
it should be something we discuss because of the pertinence, because of how
No,
big it is.
it's not. It's not.
But
Politics, we could say that.
we could encourage people to just go vote if you live in the U.S.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I would like to do, is just encourage people to vote.
Yeah, our small audience in comparison to these national NRA ads and all that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No!
Go vote.
Definitely
go
because the
vote.
most fundamentally American thing that you can encourage, the right thing to encourage, that is across all parties, across all lines, is hey, that's our civic duty. If you like us are concerned for similar reasons or very different reasons about the potential outcome of the election tomorrow. Which I think everybody is. I think maybe more so, maybe now than ever. Even though U.S. elections are always, I feel like they're always super hyperbolic.
They're always like,
and it's
life
always
or death.
Yeah, it's life or death. It's the now or never. But I think for people on both sides, it is maybe more true and more experienced this time around than ever before because of the high unfavorability ratings of both candidates.
Yeah.
So anyway, go vote, folks, if you care, and that's all we're gonna say about it. Okay. So you might have gotten a Lola parody at the beginning of this.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be Ursa.
Yeah, but
You
it's not gonna be
are
Luna or Lena,
Ursa.
even though those made way more
You
sense.
are Ursa. We didn't do it. Let's just go. Probably. Let's be honest. I probably won't
not
do it.
Yeah.
I'm too busy flying around on my Griffin.
Oh my god, dude! I can't believe every time I come here, you want to show me something that would have been cool 8.5 years ago.
It's older than that. 8.5 years ago, it was like good 5 years old.
Man, I don't care about World of Warcraft. I'm sorry, bro.
I love it, dude.
don't.
Like I said, it is like the best replacement therapy for those bad games in Dota. Where it's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna go level up my human mage.
Okay, so yesterday, I'm gonna get to a question for you. So yesterday we did the Extra Life stream. It was Saturday for those listening to this, not yesterday. But we raised a little bit of money, not much. Definitely not as much as we'd like, but I think we also didn't hype it as much as we should have. But it was still fun to do, to get there. We got to have a couple of games where we had a 5-stack of .p show hosts, which I think may have been a first ever in our .p history. I don't think we've ever had a 5-stack of just show hosts before.
Yeah.
So that was fun, and we had stupid stipulations, and I actually got to have one match where I shined as Juggernaut, where I went like 6-0. I mean, really was proud being mid-Ember Spirit that carried us to victory in that game, but...
And a sick-ass Mirana.
Yeah, but I didn't die, or, you know...
You were 6-0,
yeah. I didn't do anything too stupid to impact the game, so I felt pretty good about that. That was the only game where I didn't do something completely stupid or look like an idiot.
I don't know. I didn't play in every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna.
You just know that most of them I did something stupid.
Oh no,
or
I
looked like an
did
idiot.
stupid shit all the time. I can't even remember what I just remember the Mirana game because I was getting so much shit for jungling. And I'm like, I'm not jungling, and then I didn't. I sat there and jungled to level 3. It's like, fuck you, you fucking naysayers. Like, guys are fucking ruiners of joy.
Yeah, I'm sorry that everybody ruined your joy. But so after that, I
don't need them. I'm not a fucking wind-up doll, dude.
I took a break to
Wind
go
up bird, whatever.
eat, and Ursi and Proud carried the stream on, and Flub. And I meant to get I took my rig, went back home. I meant to like get back on and join up with him again, but I just like by the time I was really ready and able to do it, it was kind of late, and I was like, fuck it, we'll just let him go and run it out. And then I was kind of burnt out from, I mean, it was like 6 or 7 hours of straight Dota, I realized. I was super burnt out on Dota, and I didn't really want to play it. But I wanted to play something. I wanted to do something. And then I just sat there. I did Civ. I did end up doing Civ eventually.
You bought Civ?
No, not Civ 6. I'm going to wait just a little bit. I did end up playing Civ 5, though. Part of my resistance to going to Civ 6 is I have this innate fear of learning a new Civ. and I get it every time there is a new one. Like I had the same sensation going from 4 to 5, and I do now from 5 to 6, especially because a lot of it feels like it's changed pretty drastically, maybe, and probably for the better. It's getting good reviews, but
I just know that there's like 3 people in the Discord that every time I log into the Discord, I see playing Sid Meier's
there are way more on my friends list. They're popping into Civ 6, and
I'm talking like all the time though. Like where you used to be about the Dota, man. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's how so that was my point. Is like that's you with World of Warcraft. I sat down though, but I didn't know what to play to blow off steam. Like I honestly, it was about 2 hours before I finally settled on Civ.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I just
great.
didn't know what to. I didn't know what to play.
It's fucking great, dude. Yeah, like jump into a match. My fault, not my fault. Whatever. I lost. I won. Even wins. I'm thinking, oh, that was fun. Okay, I'm gonna play an hour of World of Warcraft, and then of course I get the hey, it's too hot inside. Will you come turn the air conditioning on or whatever? And so with WoW, it's really nice to be able to be like, yeah, I can do that. And I press X and my character sits down and I go inside and I do that. And it's nice. What was the game that I was talking about that was nice? Path of Exile. Path of Exile was nice for that same reason. But Path of Exile, much like Diablo 2, which I spent a lot of time on, much like Diablo, much like not like Diablo 3, You keep running it is how you do it all, and then you beat it, and then you beat it again on a harder mode, and then you beat it again on an even harder mode. It's just the redundancy.
I know you've been touting, and you guys, initially,
it's really fun. It's really fun.
But I mean, you guys were initially touting like, this is a game that has a show grown popularity.
It could. They do new events. They baby the game. It could. But the thing is. That's the type of game where, wow, I am grinding to a point, and then I guess I'm grinding again. But like with WoW, the way I remember it, because I played it back in 2004, 2005, and then sold my character right when Burning Crusade came out, which was somewhere around 2006, 2007. I think is when Burning Crusade came out.
I'll double check for you.
Maybe 2000, maybe as late. No, I don't think I was playing WoW in 2008. So anyway, you grind to the top level, and then you grind to get the best gear. You know what I mean? To look the coolest, and to get the tier 1 gear as it was put back when I played, and tier 2 gear and tier 3 gear, from Molten Core to Blackwing Lair to Noxramas.
Yeah, released in 2004.
No, World of Warcraft was not the expansion.
Burning Crusade. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. 2007.
Yes.
January 16th.
So that is when I stopped. So I stopped maybe a week after. So it was in maybe January 23rd or 24th of 2007 was the last time I had played World of Warcraft. Because I sold the character the second it got level 70. I never did a raid in Burning Crusade. I sold it right when it was at its highest peak value because it was a level 70 character.
Yeah.
When everybody else was still like level 63 and 65 and whatever. And it's because I grinded so long to get my level 60 gear, and then level 61 greensies that dropped just from killing shit were way better than my shit that I worked way hard for.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to do that same thing again.
Okay, so this is my point. Path of Exile. Like,
it's grinding. It's just grinding.
Yeah, there's a lot of grinding in Path of Exile.
There's no skill. No skill.
Right.
There's skills. It's not skillful.
There's some redundancy in it, and I guess, you could, if I really wanted to like break it down to a super base argument, you could make that argument about a lot of games. You can make that argument about Civ. I mean, Civ 5, like I'll argue up and down that no, you're not doing the same thing every time, and it is different every time.
You aren't. You aren't. But you are with
right.
Path of Exile, like you are. You could play, I don't know, the Roman Empire every single game of Civ, and you're going to have a different experience each time for sure.
Yeah.
Based on where you randomly spawn, based on the resources that are near you.
Sure.
Based on the tech tree that you decide to go. I guess you could do the same tech tree, but how much culture you get, right, dictates how quickly you go through the tech trees. Oh no, that's science.
No, that's science. Yeah.
How much science you get? So maybe one game you're kicking ass on science. Maybe the next game you're not kicking as much ass on science. Even if you decide to go the same tech trees, it's at different times that you get those tech trees. It is a game that you will never have the same exact game.
So I mean,
twice. But Path of Exile, like, the maps are the same.
Yeah.
You'll fight the same creatures in the same areas every single time. It's the same bosses.
So why, man, I know this is
so why
we've
do it?
Into. No, but I mean, why is it that... So the reason I didn't hang around in Path of Exile, the reason I downloaded it, I thought about playing it, and then I just didn't.
You'd have fun for like 10 hours.
With you and Wazoo, there exist
15 hours.
these spikes of interest in certain games, and I'm just as guilty, and I've done it in the past.
With you too, like the game that you played forever that I played for like 5 hours, Faster Than Light.
Oh, I played that the other night.
I know. Andrew introduced that to us like 2.5 years ago, and I was like, this is the shit. And I was like, I was into it way more than you were for a second. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you're still playing that. And I'm like,
well, I mean, it's a good time killer. I've definitely played that a few times and I say blow off steam, but it's just for a lack of a better term. It's basically being
something
burnt out
else
in Dota.
To do. Yeah.
There's definitely variability there, though a lot of it's kind of similar, and you can I can get to a point where I can tell whether a run's going to be a good run or a bad run. Pretty quickly even.
With Path of Exile, it's so the only way I find those dungeon crawling roguelike, whatever they're called, fun is permanency on death. But the other problem with permanency on death is when you die, you don't really feel like starting over again.
Yeah.
Although it's really fun when you're like, dude, if I die, I'm fucking dead. But then you die and you're fucking dead.
That real consequence, sure, is worthwhile.
It makes it
hardcore
really
modes
fun.
Like that are always.
Yeah, it makes it really fun to...
They're both ultra rewarding, but also on the flip side, ultra punishing.
Yeah, where I'm not... Every time I've died, and Andrew and I have run through it like 4 or 5 times. Every time I've died, I haven't restarted. Like that night. It's been 2 or 3 days, and then I'll start a Path of Exile again with Andrew, and we'll run through, and we'll get to like... It's always act like 3, where one of us dies. Usually me, because... I kick ass, and I kick ass, and I kick ass, and then I get hit. Like, I have super high evasion, and then I get hit once and die, and it's like, oof.
Yeah. So
then I go back to Dota and play Dota, and then
here's my question. I didn't get into Path of Exile with you guys because I felt
you'd like it. I mean, anybody would.
But I felt like it was a fad. I felt like it was going to die like semi soon. As far as interest picked,
I'd play it again.
So, I mean, but you're not playing it. Right, you've already moved on to World of Warcraft.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you've already found your next game. Like, even you did Darkest Dungeon, and then you...
Well, Darkest Dungeon ends, too. I made it to the Darkest Dungeon. I didn't finish the game with all achievements, but I had a group of level 6s. It was really hard to do, but guess what? When a level 6 dies, you don't really want to continue on and try and get a level 5 to level 6. Right. Because that game... Once again, super punishing. It makes it fun. You don't want your guys to die. You run away from dungeons. It's super Cthulhu-y. It's really, really fun. They thought it out.
Right.
But it's not going to last forever.
Right. But so my point being, like, I can kind of go through and like identify these fads that we've had, these trends that we've had along the way. I mean, and I've been just as guilty. I've done it with Arkham Knight. Like, I was looking at Arkham Knight last night and thinking, like, man, I was enjoying the fuck out of that game. No, I'm damn close to the end. Mm-hmm. And in fact, part of what's turned me off of going back to it is feeling like the
momentum was lost.
Well, no, the learned mechanics that I needed to be successful at the increasing difficulty as the game goes on, and utilization of skills that you pick up and you learn incrementally. Like, the mechanical ability there is probably destroyed for me. Mm-hmm. So it makes me kind of reluctant to pick it back up. But the things that I can think of, the games that I can think of that have stuck around, for me at least, have been FTL, but FTL is kind of a different story.
It's like a 10-minute thing,
right? Like, I can, it's
like it may as well be a phone game.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. It definitely may as well be a phone game.
Yeah, the second I played it, I was like, why isn't this on my phone? Like, I would play this all the time if this were on my phone.
It is on your iPad.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
You kind of do need a bigger screen because you're sending guys to different places,
and
opening and closing doors, and
pause play.
Pause, play, pause, play.
I do.
Pause, play, pause, play.
Yeah, I choose
Pause,
the best
pause,
option.
play, pause.
Yeah.
Like watching you play is like, Jesus, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm micro it all the way.
It's
yeah,
good.
Which
What makes you a good FTL player, and you've beat it, and you've number of times,
on every
right?
difficulty. Yeah, with
on every difficulty.
Yeah, with a number of different ships.
Do you have every ship then?
The only ship I don't have is the Crystal Cruiser. This is boring for anybody who doesn't play faster than light.
Which is
the Crystal Cruiser, which requires a very specific set of circumstances to occur to unlock it. And I was like, fuck it, and I just used this FTL profile editor to get it for free to try it. And it's whatever. It's just another
What
ship.
if you got VAC banned for that?
For FTL?
Yeah,
that would be so shitty.
They're like, don't be fucking with their games,
I hope
man.
nobody's listening. Valve, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
So the only games I can think of for myself that have hung around that I have played through the years have been whatever the current iteration of Civilization is, Dota 2, and this isn't a video game, but poker.
We haven't played poker in over a year.
I still watch poker.
I watch poker. I've played poker.
And I would I would play. Well, and I've played within the last 5-6 months. But
have you?
Yeah, not
when?
Seriously.
Okay, 5-6 months ago. We're in 11, so May. We've played poker from now to May. No way. When
was the last time
we used to be all about the poker, man? We used to be all about the poker. I miss the shit out of it.
But okay, I guess my passion for poker hasn't died. Like it's still there.
It's still there
can't,
for sure.
Like I just can't go.
I'm a 2K MMR poker player, for
right?
Sure.
That's half the problem.
I'm in the trenches of poker.
But why? So why did we stick with Dota?
Because it's infinitely changing because of the vastness of the heroes. I loved it right away, and to shed some light on like the hero pool, I gave you shit about playing Lion because I didn't understand why somebody would want to just stay on one hero because I was having so much fun with the multitude of heroes. It wasn't about I'm better than you.
Sure.
It wasn't like, hey, you're an idiot.
Although those
I'm
are
way better than you.
I really
the arguments early on were I'm going to be better than you because I'm playing more heroes.
Sure.
That was the argument. It wasn't that I am better than you.
Sure.
It was that I was going to be better than you. Of course, only time is the best test of if I'm better than you or not. Quantifiably, I am not better than you. Quantitatively, I am not better than you. I don't think.
I think our MMRs are about identical. Sure.
Yeah, they're like identical. I just didn't understand that it's like, dude. Stop doing the thing where you turn people into frogs and stun people and have this finger. Like, there's this guy, he's in the fucking trees, and he can teleport anywhere, bro. Like, don't you want to play that? It was just like this initial excitement of every game's different for like 110 different games. Then I did the all-hero challenge.
Is that why?
Well, that's what stuck me initially. And then when then the randoming came in after doing the all-hero. And randoming was never, I've never played this hero because I did the all-hero challenge. And so I was like, oh, cool, this is going to mean that I'm going to be a better Lena player now. And honestly, in the end, it's like what I did if we were to compare me playing the heroes to a D&D character sheet is I just was like, I'm just going to go straight 9s. I'm just going to go all 9s or all 10s. Or all 11s. I'll be an 11 strength, an 11 charisma, an 11 wisdom, an 11 int. Instead of, that's not how you build a D&D character, you know what I mean? I may as well have said...
No, that is I mean, although your analogy is kind of shite for anybody who, remember thinks about D&D.
Yeah. So it's basically making a really...
But I mean, having straight... So, like, you're basically the argument you're making is instead of having straight 12s, strength, dex, con, int, whiz, charisma, you in D&D it's better, especially with
if I'm a mage I want high whiz,
right?
If I'm a warrior I want high strength,
and it's good to have and typically in D&D, especially when you play with more standardized rules like point buy systems, and
the organic point buy systems,
but I mean if you're playing with point buy systems, it pays to have a dump stat. And to be dump stat is...
My hero is ugly as fuck, 6 charisma.
Yeah.
6 charisma, he is ugly as fuck. Definitely nobody wants to talk to him.
Right.
But he is super duper smart underneath that ugly, ugly shell of his. Yeah. Because he has an 18 inch.
So using that example, and I suppose that was just a slight difference in philosophy. Was my thinking was... the game is very clearly, and I realize now that I was even thinking about the game differently then than I think the average player, our skill level still does, because like I've told, like you and I have recently discussed how many times we've had to explain creep equilibrium, or not, why, not even just creep equilibrium, but rather why it's not good to auto attack creeps.
Yeah,
I've had to frequently explain that in a 2K pub.
Like you do one auto attack and it's not going to push the wave instantly. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's hard to teach somebody something that is gradual.
Yeah, and they're like, it's still right here. Well, it's up at the tower because they attacked and they got up to the tower.
It's barely even moved. That's not because I'm attacking. It's because he stunned us. Or something, you know. There's always those straw man arguments that you can go toward with gradual things.
And it's just not remembering things. Mm-hmm. I mean, people also just like straight up. I can't tell you how many times I've had a discussion with somebody where I was like, "Hey, you know, like I said, we shouldn't fight right there. We weren't fighting right there. We were fighting right here." And it's like, well, no, you died right here. So where did you fight?
Well, you have to go to Dota Buff after the game in order to really prove that. And
but people aren't interested in doing that. And
because when the game's over, it's over.
So I realized that even then I was thinking about the game somewhat differently than maybe the people that are.
Well, I remember your argument was, so your very first hero, because I had like 2 weeks on you, if you recall. Your very first hero was Sniper because you played the training. Yeah. And I was like, yo, dude, you don't want to play Sniper. And you're like, no, I think I'm going to stick with this guy. And I was like, and I remember how I was. I was kind of a dick about it. And I was like, no, dude, like, there's so many other heroes that are so much cooler, and they have so many cooler abilities.
So I moved over to a different hero, just barely, and then just stuck with that hero instead.
Well, not just barely. You moved to a different position completely.
Yeah, no, and I did. Well,
you moved to Lion.
And the reason I moved to that different position was because at the time,
and Skywrath.
The reason I did at the time was because Wazoo was in, and this was like 6.8.
Wazoo was our sensei. He was our master. This was 6.80 is when we were playing.
Was it? Okay. But regardless, it was a time
when you started playing. It was 6.80.
It was the time when
6.8
when Faceless Void was still being run safe lane carry.
Lycan was mid
or safe. There were still safe lane Lycans being run then. I think.
I just remember Arteezy and Lycan were the same thing to me in my mind. That I knew who Arteezy was. And I knew he played Lycan and Shadow Fiend.
And of course, at the time, and it didn't quite hit its stride until 6.83. I think with Troll.
6.83 was. It felt like a while. Like it felt like we had been playing Dota a while before 6.83 came out.
Maybe
three patches, and patches are like what, like 100 days. So like.
Maybe
like 6 months. I bet it was like 6 months or something before 6.83 hit us.
I would be interested in seeing the math, or like the average
from 6.80 to. I think we were right. Maybe even 6.79.
My point being that Wazoo was playing safe lane carries, and we, one of the
and
first
he was
things,
our master.
Yeah, and
he owned our asses and our souls, and he told us what was right and what was wrong.
Right,
and if we couldn't argue with him, and when we tried, we were dumb as fuck.
Well, and you can go back and listen to the first episode of this podcast, which has been funny.
Remember the Crystal Maiden, where you thought Crystal Maiden got interrupted, like that type thing, and you ended up being wrong, but that was the attitude he had.
No, but
everything.
I wasn't. I know, right, but I wasn't.
Because you're getting mini bashed by Sniper.
Right. I wasn't wrong that I was getting... what was happening was I was seeing myself be mini bashed by Sniper, and it was canceling my Crystal Maiden.
And in my mind, you not knowing that was like, oh my god, I've played Sniper a bunch of times. I know that's a mini bash.
Sure.
And that's where like the different stems of...
And I'll still hold that I was kind of technically correct that Sniper's right click was capable of...
Sure.
Of canceling her
technically correct.
Technically correct. Sure. But, regardless. Yeah. But, so... we went back, and one of the first pieces of advice we got was reading the Purge, Welcome to Dota 2, You Suck.
Remember, I started watching those right away, and that was why I started playing new heroes so frequently, is because every night I didn't even play Dota. I want to go in and watch 4 Purge plays.
Yeah.
And Purge plays Shadow Demon. Oh my god, dude. It's so crazy. Yeah. It puts this number above their head when you put the Shadow Poison thing, and then you get to detonate it. It's kind of like a poison evil bomb. I remember my excitement every day you'd come over to play. It was some new hero that I was in love with.
You were constantly changing hero. I mean, it still exists today with...
Not as drastic, maybe, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there were episodes where we were doing it twice a week, and on Monday I'd be like, Jackie boy, I'm throwing ice bats, I'm dead. And then the next one would be like...
and I can't even remember the last time you played Jakiro, but I do remember your Jakiro
I can.
phase.
I can remember. I played it with Proud and fucking fed. And he's like, never, ever do that skill build ever again. and like got like and was like very serious toned with me and was like, you just did the worst thing you could fucking possibly do. He's like, when was the last time you played Jakiro? And I was like, back when it was good to do this, I'm pretty sure.
So I read the Purge guide, and I guess I just decided at the time.
Or Welcome to Dota 2 You Suck is what you're talking about? Okay,
yeah, and so I was thinking, and what I guess the thought process that went through my mind at the time was, and I do this in a lot of games, and I know I'm probably rehashing some stuff here from old podcasts, but for newer folks, I was looking at all of it and I was thinking, okay, I play all the time, and I only play with Roland and Wazoo. And, the goal was to kind of decide, like, I think the goal at the time was we were like, yeah, well,
everybody was talking about specialization.
Well, yeah, and let's get a team, and let's do, let's actually have positions.
Let's get a team house, man. Let's get a team house.
Well, just a team that played with regular.
Before I had a wife that was pregnant.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So yeah, back before you even had a wife.
I know.
So my thinking then was, I'll specialize and I'll go support. And support's not and I've always been okay with being that position. I'm okay with playing the role on the team that isn't the getting all the kill roles. Like I'm okay with doing that. It's been my MO in games before.
Well, I mean, even remember our fad with that other MMO that we played where you were the priest?
Yeah, I'm always down to play the healer.
You were,
I'm always down to.
I was the mage. You were the priest. Audrey was the rogue.
Well, because everybody and actually MMOs is probably where a lot of that came from. Because
no one wanted to be the priest. Why would you want to heal, man? I want to get a sword and slash them.
Yeah, I want to be the goal. The glory is in being the tank or the DPS. Yeah. That's where the glory is.
And there's
the glory is not in being the person who's buffing and healing.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with doing that. Like,
and
because
you were
I realized
a damn good priest. And what was that MMO that we played? That we were like,
Neverwinter.
God, that was worse than heroin, dude. We just stayed in that room for like 3 weeks and then realized that game sucked.
Yeah.
It was like 3 weeks of not leaving a room. And
there was a good week of realizing that
was right before Dota.
Going.
Remember?
Yeah.
I do. Right before we started playing Dota.
Yeah.
That was our like newest thing.
I still have the PC that we played it on.
I remember I bought Audrey a
shitty PC.
No, I bought Audrey a laptop for that.
Oh yeah,
because it needed like 2.4 gigahertz or something, and I was like, "All right, we're gonna go get you a laptop right now. You need to play this."
It
with
couldn't
me.
run shit.
Yeah, but it could run that, and that's all that mattered.
So I didn't mind swapping out. I didn't mind taking on that position, and I guess that was my thinking more at the time. Was
I remember you guys saying carry all the time and not understanding because everything was a carry. Everything was like a carry is somebody who wins a game. It was. I remember my immature
I think
thinking.
Your initial thinking was, because I remember this because you were talking about how like, well, you carried the game because I had a game on Skywrath where I went like
really
15
well.
and 1.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you carried that.
And you were the carry of that game, and I was like, well,
that concept did not sink in for the longest time for me because it was like there's 110 heroes and they can all do really well,
right.
And there isn't a carry, and all you do is play Lion. And I just can't believe that you don't want to try this awesome Tidehunter guy. Okay, at level 6, he gets these tentacle things. It's fucking rad. All right, they were just, and I mean, as I was going through a million heroes.
So to tie it back to your D&D analogy, I decided, and I know that I hampered myself in some regards. I decided to specialize in support, and I made carry and mid and off lane my dump stats. Mm-hmm. I had one good stat, and
which was smart,
and all dumped. Well, yes and no.
And remember, every time
we'd
get in a fight, you and Andrew would both be like, "You just need to figure out where you want to go and just go there."
And
and there was merit to it, and I was like, "No, I don't want to." And remember that was always no, I don't want to. I'm sorry, I'm way too interested in playing all the heroes well. I want to play every hero well.
I still think there's some merit to that, but
there really isn't. Like
there absolutely is, and I will say that one.
Not at climbing MMR, there isn't.
No, well,
like it does not work playing every hero.
Sure, no, of course,
and I mean I don't play every hero well. I don't.
Right, but you shouldn't be doing that with MMR. Like if you want to be doing that, the place you should be doing it is in normal. Yeah, in all reality,
for sure. But
if your goal is to climb MMR, which I don't think your goal is,
but why do I play MMR? Path of Exile with death as the punishment? Why do I play poker with
you need
money
something on the
as
line.
The punishment?
Right, I get it. You need something on the line, and that's fine. But you have to be relegated to the fact that you're going to be, until you are a 3K player on every hero, you're not going to be a 3K player in MMR.
Which is going to take for fucking ever, if you think about it. It's taken forever to even be stable at 2K playing a humongous pool of heroes. Like, at least 70 or 80
Well, and
heroes.
we both know people who have dropped 1,000 MMR since we started playing.
Yeah, we do both know, but that's due to a different reason, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, that might be that's to the opposite though. Is a too
I'm not
shallow hero pool.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think it was too narrow with Wazoo. He just, so what happened that really hurt him is, remember his Lycan win rate was like off the chain, like 70% over like 200 games or something like that. Lycan fundamentally changed from this sit in lane, farm, man fight win, to this like finesse, jump around, split push, get a Necronomicon, which was an item none of us had bought. Yeah. When we first started playing, Andrew had never bought a Necronomicon ever in his life. Or like 10 other
That was
items.
not how you built Lycan.
Yeah.
Lycan ran around and killed
Andrew
things.
still maybe has never built an Orchid. Maybe has never built like 10 items that exist within Dota over thousands of hours and thousands of games. And I guess I'll apologize on air that I realized that I did give you a bunch of shit for that, and I do.
That's not what I'm looking for.
I know you're not. Hey, shut up for a second, please. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to talk. I apologize for my narrow-mindedness. I think that's the one thing that shows most clearly in those early episodes is how narrow-minded I was in being like, you fool. You fool.
Have been with Dota.
Because now when I'm getting to this point where I want to specialize, I've played all the heroes that I just don't know what. Like I tell Proud all the time because Proud is seriously concerned with my MMR being low.
Yeah.
Proud.
I'm concerned.
Proud
for
thinks,
all of our MMR.
Proud thinks that I should be a higher MMR. He says that I play at a higher MMR. You know what, Fafnir? You can fucking shove it, okay?
Crooked Fafnir.
Yeah, Crooked Fafnir can fucking shove it. But my problem is playing. So I've been playing support with Proud because he's so much. He has a Smurf that's 3,800, so I can barely even ranked party with him. Barely even can I ranked party with him, but we can, and we do, and I am always a support, and I like it. It's fun because the what is on the line? MMR, yeah. But embarrassment in front of a really good friend of mine and fellow show host. You know what I mean? I don't want to play terribly in front of... I don't want to do stupid shit. And so I tell him in every game that I'm going to listen to you completely. Everything that you say is going to be like the fucking Bible for me. And I will follow it blindly. Completely and utterly blindly. And I do. And when I don't, I'll tell you more often than not, I die or a bad situation erupts. And that just has to go to... I honestly don't think that Proud is mechanically 3,000 MMR higher than me. I don't. I feel like I could probably... He's better at last hitting. He's better at all that stuff for sure. But I feel like I could come within like 5 or 10 CS of him in a lane. I think where Proud is way better than me is saying, here's a situation, here's how I deal with it, here's the outcome.
Sure.
And my outcome is bad, and his outcome is usually a lot less bad. Or maybe even in the good realm of things. And that's what makes Proud a really good player, a really good carry. Especially, his Smurf's name is Carry Player. Just so when he gets in, he gets a carry, and it works. Like he gets a carry every single time. Whether we go off lane or safe lane, it doesn't matter. We dual lane every time. And it's cool to see. The one other thing that he's way better than me at is dealing with a lane. If I have supports fucking with my lane or the lane equilibrium or what have you, he keeps lane equilibrium in place. That's one thing that Proud definitely better than me at. He understands keeping things somewhere. He understands having 2 range creeps is a bad thing. Now, I know 2 range creeps on my side is a bad thing, but without Proud bringing that to my attention, I wouldn't know. And I miss a lot of last hits because of it, because they go from being in range to get a last hit to out of range into attacks from a range creep. So it makes it a literally impossible last hit in some cases. Anyway, tons of knowledge from him. But as far as like mechanical like skill goes, I don't think that's the delineation between us.
I want to pull it back though to specialization
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, I go off on tangents.
No,
all I'm saying is
it's...
I'm playing support with Proud, and then I walk into my pubs and I'm like, no, whoever says that playing support to get out of fucking 2K, I'm sorry. I believe right now it's November 6th.
Yeah.
2016. You're wrong. I'm going to say that right now, November 6th, 2016. Wrong. So playing support in 2K is usually, please, you've agreed with me recently.
No, I do.
It's the fucking wrong thing.
And that's
if you want to win, at least, or if you want to
here's my
significantly
thinking.
help your team to
here's
win.
my thinking. And I know, and you know, I'm just trying to take advice that I get from higher skill players that is pertinent at our level, because I also think that part of getting better at Dota and climbing out of MMR is realizing the areas where you can take advantage of and abuse the other players that are currently at your skill level. And I think that probably goes into play at all levels, and you probably find new things to abuse and new things to take advantage of and new things to overcome at every skill level.
For sure.
Currently at our skill level, it is generally about competence. You don't know if the guy that you're going to get in the pub is, and I say this jokingly.
You should say the anti-mage in the pub.
You don't know if the guy that you're going to get in the pub who just random to that fucking hero is, you know, or you don't know if the guy you got in the pub is a Roland who's going to come in and random a hero.
Yeah.
And random a hero that he has 5 games on.
Mm-hmm.
Or random a hero he has no games on, which is very possible at our level because you're a 2K player, and maybe that person just fucking started playing Dota and calibrated, and so they're randoming Batrider for the first time.
Oh, if I random Earth Spirit or something like that, like, I'm not going to promise the world or nothing. Like, I'm not gonna...
But so on the flip side, you also don't know if you've got a guy who, like you, maybe is always playing ranked because they got to have something on the line. And now what they're doing is they've decided to go through the all-hero challenge again. And they're on Meepo, and they don't ever play Meepo.
Meepo's easy.
I know. I didn't say that
Meepo
to start
is
the Meepo.
maybe the
but
easiest.
Meepo
very,
is also
very
an easy hero to really fuck a game up with.
I don't think Meepo's the easiest hero.
So anyway, I think it's more. I think at our level, and I use both of those. I know those are joking examples at your expense. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
But I mean, you don't,
everything at my expense is fine.
It has to do about competence and or you don't know if the guy is me who just played anti-mage in 2 games previously and had a fucking sick ass game on him. And
you're just feeling strong.
And I'm feeling strong, so I'm just gonna take anti-mage into
and then I'm gonna pick Chaos Knight and put it in safe lane 2 and be like, no, dude, we'll just
or even worse,
or we'll just share the lane then.
Yeah, we'll share the lane.
We'll split CS.
We'll see who gives first. We'll see. We'll play CS chicken, and
I hate that.
See what happens. But I mean, so you don't know what you're going to get, but more often than not, it comes down to competence at our level with a hero. And what I've decided, and what I feel like I see, is if it's going to come down to competence on a hero, I'd rather just gamble on my own competence in the carry lane or in the mid lane than to gamble on the stranger. Because, I can play support, and I can have a hell of a great game on a support, but the fact of the matter is, if I can't get the guy to competently push a lane, if I can't get the guy to competently build, even if as Purge says, Purge, one of his videos talks about how, hey, at least if you're playing a good support, and that guy's going a shit build on Slark, well, at least he's getting that shit build accomplished faster. I don't know. Sometimes the shit builds are really shit. Yeah. Sometimes, I played that game with an AA the other day who maxed out who went cold feet stats till he maxed out cold feet, then got his ult, then continued to go stats. He didn't grab Ice Vortex or Cold Snap.
At level 10 you have to go something else. You can't stats and ult your way all the way to level 11, I don't think. Because you can only do every other.
My point being that by like a level 11 or level 12...
Maybe you can. Wait, 4 or 5? No, he would have to go something at level 10, I'm pretty sure.
By level 11 or level 12...
Or maybe not. I might be wrong.
All he had was stats, cold feet, and ult. I know that.
He may have had 2 levels in ult by level 11, and then max cold feet, and then 5 levels in
12, 15, there are 10 levels.
He needs to have 6 stats, or he needs to have 5 stats and 6 skills at level 11.
Right.
So 6 in his skills and 5 in his stats. So that's
yeah.
Totally splitting hairs. I was just like, wait, anyway, I would totally go stats every level if I could.
He picked up brown boots, 2 iron branches, and then rushed his ags. Didn't grab a Midas in between to help speed that along. And this was my support in lane, and he was simultaneously attacking creeps. Auto-attacking creeps. And then asking me, every time I said, hey, please don't auto-attack, he would say, why? And I would say, oh, it's messing with my last hits. He's like, no, I'm letting you get the last hits. I was like, no. That's not what we're talking about here. I'm saying it's making it harder to last hit because you're pushing the wave up, and it's harder for me to farm closer to their tower, and I'm more at risk for a gank, and you have to explain a lot of this kind of shit. But when I'm playing a support in those games with those same people, I can be having a killer game, and there can come a point where I just can't. I can't, even as a silencer, even as an Abaddon, even as these supports that scale well into the late game, I can't overcome the late game Spectre. I can't overcome the late game Medusa.
You know what's the worst? Is, okay, so you are playing a support, and you have a 2k carry, okay? Which, you know, he's probably hitting like 40 by 10, and you're supporting him well. But you have 2 supports, and they picked 4 cores. And you never engage, and all you do is you farm your 3 cores. You farm your 3 cores, and then you finally clash, and maybe you win a fight, and then you keep farming, and then eventually, it doesn't matter that you had the right team composition, because they had 4 cores, they got enough farm, and they win.
Right. And that's what a lot of it's come down to for me is, yes, there's also this, like, hey...
Even the right composition is the wrong composition.
Right. Like, even if it's going to be 4 cores versus 4 cores... Fuck! I might as well be one of the cores.
Yeah,
I might as well be a fucking core.
But then you have to think, okay, who is this guy that is supporting every game? Because we're assuming that we're not 5 core.
You know what? The guy who's supporting more often than not, and because I was
the new guy.
Yeah,
is the new guy?
No,
is the new guy?
It's a guy. It's an angry guy, and I was this guy. And it's I won't say that
they usually are angry guys.
No, they are. It's great. These are my carries. It's great. This is what I have. And they are vocal about it, and they'll throw people on fucking tilt. Like, the guys who are playing support at our level, and, you know, I say I was one of these guys, but, like, I was not like them. Nah, not like them.
We all want to think that we're not like... We all want to think that we're not like the...
I do. Yes, you're right. I do. I 100% do.
Okay, cool.
But they're vocal. They're upset. They're angry. They feel slighted. But I understand why they do, because you feel like you have to. And
it's the weirdest team game you'll ever play in your life, I promise you, because the people you hate the most are your teammates. I want to start a movement, hate the enemy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The enemy, not
just like start a big movement where it's like hashtag hate the enemy, and literally like promote shit talking in games to the other team. Like, you want to tilt somebody? Tilt the other team.
You know what? I completely agree.
Like, there should be a movement started where it's like, you want to say shitty, terrible things? Say it to the other team.
Well, and Valve's little thing at the bottom, like, don't make more enemies than you already have, than the 5 you already have. It's that's not good enough, Mickey.
They're my best friends. They're my best friends, the people on the other team. They're the people I most often get along with.
Yeah, that is a fucking truth. Amen, brother. Yeah. Because more often than not, what I get from enemy teams is like, hey, sorry that guy went Shadow Blade.
Because they're winning. They're in a good mood. There's not fucking mutiny within their ranks.
Well, and you'll get them doing things where, like, you have the one everybody's played with this guy, where it's like, GG, noob team, GG, noob carries, GG, noob fucker. And, you know, you get this asshole, and then you'll get the other team who go like, dude,
really sorry.
You're the feeder. You're the feeder.
Yeah, you're the one that I'm reporting. Yeah. Like, I love that where it's like, report CK, and it's like, reporting you. Yeah. And they're like, wait, no, because I said to report CK. Yeah. And then you're saying report me, and I'm like, no, I'm going to report you.
Anytime somebody says report, you know, whatever my fucking hero is, I just into the all chat and I go, sorry about that guy, but hey, if you want free reports, I think you know who to report.
Yeah. No, really, the movement should start now. Hate your enemies.
Hashtag hate the enemy.
Like, hate your enemy with all that vitriol that you bring into the team.
Yeah.
Just fucking all chat it. Say everything you're going to say.
But the guys who are playing support in the 2Ks, like, they're jaded. Like they're
I'm
hardcore
jaded, bro. I'm fucking jaded. I've been playing this game way too long.
And you know the other thing I'll never do ever again.
What?
Play Dota late at night.
Oh, it's bad. That's the only time I ever played Dota.
I know, but the people you get late at night, the people that are on late at night, and this is I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. You're gonna say
they're the guys who are gambling their MMR all night, okay? And they're down and they're sitting at the table still, not because they're up, not because they're on a win streak, but because they're down.
Oh, I've been
and
sitting at the table late at night. I've done that before.
And they're the most heinous assholes you'll ever.
You know what happens
across.
when you sit at the table late at night? You get aces and they get cracked. That's what happens late at night.
That is
table.
what happens.
You get aces and you're like, "Fuck yeah! Finally, some fucking vengeance for this bullshit night."
I picked an AM. I got AM, and they got Wraith King and Dusa. This is gonna be great.
This is easy. I got it. It's easy. And then it's fucking what's happening? The turn comes. You're like, no, this guy just tripped.
Yeah.
He's got trips. He just had his 6 in his hand. How are there 2 6s on the board? And then he fucking takes the pot. And then you walk home with even more loss.
I'm telling you, it's those guys, and I run. It's those guys, and it's the guys who are admittedly probably playing the way that or they're taking it less seriously. They're playing it like a game, but unfortunately, they're doing it ranked, and they're drinking and they're having a good time. Like I run into those guys a lot too. But which kind of sucks. I do wish people took solo ranked.
Don't drink and if you can't drink and drive, all right. Would you say that driving is easier than playing Dota?
Yes.
Okay. I would say that driving and not crashing.
And I'm not good at driving.
I'm assuming that driving and not getting in an accident.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And they give tickets to other
like
people.
Just like in Dota.
Just sometimes it's not your fault.
Sometimes you get reported.
Yeah,
sometimes you go to low prio.
Sometimes it's not your fault. But I will say that driving is way easier than playing Dota.
Yeah.
You need less concentration. You're usually
you have
always
to pay
listening
attention
to
a lot less stimuli.
Yeah, there's only a few rules. There's rules, but you know.
You know why it's easier than why Dota is harder than driving? I can have a conversation with my girlfriend while I drive.
Exactly, and you.
I can't.
I
dude,
okay, is it illegal to drink and drive?
It sure is.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a point, right? You can have a few.
Yeah.
You can have a few.
Yeah.
And you can still drive. You may
that's because driving's easier.
Yeah.
You can have a few.
You can have a few. In Dota, don't you fucking drink. When you come in and you're like, I'm fucking drunk, I'm reporting you, man, because that's illegal. You know what I mean? It's don't drink in Dota.
If you get too many drunk Dota reports, Valve should force you to put one of those interlock devices that you have to blow into before you queue and rank.
Like I'm all for sober Dota. Like sober Dota, good Dota, dude.
Oh, I agree. Anytime, even if I'm sleepy, you know what I mean?
Like
drowsy
Dota. Don't do
drowsy
Dota. Yeah.
But that's who you run into late at night, are those kind of
people. I know. And they're like, well, Dota and beer, come check out my stream. And it's like, watch you lose? Yeah. Watch you do terrible things to other people? No way.
At least not in solo ranked, please. And if you're just queuing as a 2-stack, remember, folks, there's a possibility you wind up in someone else's solo ranked match.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe don't do that to us.
That's when I would say the few times that I've played Dota while under the influence, I have gone into normal. I understand what that does to families that play Dota.
Yeah. You don't need some guy angry that you were drunk in Dota and lost him a ranked match and then going and beating his wife.
Like,
you know?
I would say if you're going to do that, just go drive around until you sober up, okay? Go drive around until you sober up and then come play some Dota. All right? No. Because we don't want you in our Dota games.
That's not what we're
No, I'm not encouraging drunk driving. But even if you've had like 1 or 2 beers, trust me, you're playing worse.
Yeah.
You are.
For sure.
And for all those people that are like, nah, dude, you just can't hold your liquor. No, I can't hold my liquor. You're right. But you're worse at Dota too, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
And that has been something that's
been your .p public service announcement.
Well, when I go to Ohana for some sushi and some sake, I don't come home and play Dota.
No.
You know what I want to do? Come home and play Dota. I'm thinking, damn, I'm on top of the world. I feel great. Just had some sushi and sake.
Yep.
Nope, not going to do it. Because that destroys... What if daddy just got home from work and is playing a Dota game with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then goes back to his family and is like, this fucking drunk guy was just in my game and hits his kids. I don't want that.
I don't know where you're... I feel like I'm
going dark places with it. You got to go dark places with it to encourage people not to do it.
Anyway, so to take this a step back to our specialization, our discussion before we wrap the show. I do feel like having diverted over into carry for the reasons previously stated, I feel like it's made me a better support when I do play support.
And you're a good carry.
I'm getting mechanically better.
You can CS just as well as I can. Like, I mean, I watch you play carry, and the thing is as a support, you know from the thousands of times you've died that you're squishy as fuck and that you're a support. And I think that scaredness of like, oh god, I'm weak and I die real easy, goes into your carry play a little bit.
I think I have more patience. It is maybe the better thing.
I've been dying for years, dude. Yeah. I've been dying dumb for years.
Like I told you, and we mentioned it on a previous episode, but like I feel like the one thing I have done really well when I'm playing with a decent support, when I'm not playing, and it's something we talked about. So, okay, we talked about taking advantage of people like getting overly aggressive and then having to come back in a lane and get that.
Oh, on that Monday episode.
And get
that was a good episode.
Yeah, and get that return kill, right?
Yeah.
You got to get back on
top.
top.
And I totally think about that all the time when I'm playing.
Unfortunately, I can see it happen on my side too, and it's usually with an aggressive support. When somebody comes into my lane as an aggressive support, because it's so there's a difference between zoning and going for a kill.
And just like, I'm Dazzle, I'm going to shadow poison and then fucking run up to him and heal.
And I'm going to get this kill. I'm going to force a kill here. I'm going to force a confrontation.
It's a good trade if I die under tower and barely get him. Oh, wait, I died. But if I would have got him, it would have been a good trade.
And sure, it would have. But there was a 40% chance that you were going to get him.
Yeah.
There, at best.
Oh, instead of these stun bars, let's put stat bars. The stats on if you would actually kill this guy. The
percent of dives in this situation that have worked out before would be way more fucking useful information.
0.000001.
And I do wish Dota had those kinds of stats. I do wish you could be like times you've died under tier 1 enemy tower where enemy had less than 10% health.
That would be all of my deaths. And all my kills too.
So my point being, like, I get into these games as a carry where I have shit supports, but I'm able to thrive and succeed even in spite of these shit supports. The mistakes that they usually make are the mistakes that I'm hoping we can take advantage of, which is, I had a disruptor the other night who got into lane and he went the what's the orb? What's his Q called?
Who?
The disruptor, his Q.
Static field, or no, it's called lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt, yeah. So he
it's one of those direct, there's no illusion about the.
Anyway, so he skills his lightning first, and he puts it on the guy, and then he's pinging, and he's like, come on, we can get this kill. Well, the guy's he's only thrown two Qs on him, and he's at maybe, the guy's been using tangos, and he's at maybe a third health down. We're not going to kill a guy who's only missing a third of his health. Not when I'm on a Spectre or an AM or whatever the fuck I'm playing. At level 2.
And you're gonna blow your whole laning phase mana pool on trying to kill that? That was so fucking good. When he's like the laning phase mana thing, and he's like, no, you've just blown on the mana for your laning phase.
Yeah.
And now I'm I hold on to my spells and shake when I have to
use them when you need them. Yeah, you use them when you need them. Now, it's a different story if I'm playing Spectre and I'm level 3 now in lane and I've got a level 2. I've got that first level in Desolate. I've got that level 2 of my Spectral Dagger, and he's got level 2 on his Lightning, and we get that guy down to a third health, and you've got a glimpse up in case he tries to run. Well, hey, that's our kill. That's our moment. That's the moment we should be waiting for. You can't force your moment. And people want to force their moment all the time. And that's, and
smoking is forcing a moment. That's like forcing a moment.
Sure.
And that's usually
and you're right. And so on the flip side, my over defensiveness from playing way too many games of support for way too fucking long is that I get into situations where I'm reluctant to force a moment. That's my weakness as a Dota player. I think it pays off for me in the laning phase. I think it pays off for me in the early game.
Dude, if we had a baby, we'd have such a good Dota player.
If only.
You know what I mean? It would be like the perfect...
the best 2K Dota baby player ever.
Oh, no, it would definitely rise. If we had a baby, it would be really good at being calm and cool and collected, which comes from me. And then it would also be good at giving orders.
Yeah.
Which comes from you.
Oh, okay.
It would have a wide pool of heroes. But pretty bad at most of them. That comes from me.
Yeah.
And then it would be pretty good at some of them. That comes from you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so I guess on the point of specialization, I do think that like getting it down to, and we kind of got into this on a previous Wednesday show, but like getting it down to like 2 positions is maybe ideal. And in my brain, I've started to think that
support, you can always be a support.
Yes
so,
and no. Yeah,
it feels like.
Well, you are going to get... I have had support games where I've played a support.
I know, I see it on Reddit all the time, but those are like the rare circumstances where it's like,
and
everybody plays support.
But,
whoa!
But more importantly, like maybe there is somebody who's willing to play support in the game, and maybe it's worthwhile for you to, in order to strengthen your role and strengthen your range, you could say, okay, I'm always going to play support, so I'm either going to play a 4 or a 5. You could do that. I actually think you might be better off saying, I'm going to limit myself to safe lane and either play a 5 or a carry. Or if you want to just be a carry player, then maybe limiting yourself to mid or carry are the 2 best things to do. I do think having those types of ranges.
Dude, fuck, he's climbed.
Yeah.
Kyrai used to be a pleb like us, dude. And he was in the pleb club. And same with Chilled Wind in the pleb club, dude. He used to be shitty Dota players.
And here we are.
I know. And they're
still
just
sucking at Dota.
And Chilled Wind popped into the stream the other day, and he's like, wow, I don't move my camera around nearly as much as you do. But I'm way higher MMR. It's like, fuck you. He didn't say that, but it was implied. It was implied for sure. He's climbed, man. And, he plays mid and carry.
Right. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I think I'm going to...
mid and carry.
I'm going to try to...
And really good mid. God damn. Remember when he stood in for us? And it was like totally cheating what we did?
Yeah, we didn't realize until afterwards because we still had this...
I kind of knew.
Oh, I see, and I didn't know. I wouldn't have let that happen.
He just... that poor
crushed.
Team.
Yeah, it was.
It was
unfair.
It was like it was 4 dudes that were like, we're good at Dota. One dude that was actually good at Dota, and then the other team that was just running around as their village was being burnt, and it was just yeah. And I was like, yeah, totally, good job, Kyra. I'm just still CSing over here. You just keep killing them over there, but
I mean, that's basically what I did with Proud Mid. That Juggernaut game was like, well, they're really worried about this Ember Spirit who's wrecking them, and I just get to sit down here and do my 2K farming. But I went 6-0. Oh, the worst.
Oh, that's what I
the
do,
worst feeling.
so.
And I saw Proud have this moment, and I was like, good, everybody has this moment. Where he was trying to push the wave. I swear this will be the last story, and then we can end it. But every once in a while, you're trying to push the wave, so you're attacking a little bit, and then you wait and you let the creeps get at the rest of the wave before you get the last hit. But on Juggernaut, sometimes you do it,
you crit,
and then it fucks you.
I know, that's why I say I hate farming with crit heroes.
I'm all right with it.
Unless it's in the jungle, and then I love me farming with them crit heroes.
But I saw Proud just like, fuck! You're like, when he crit. It was great.
Oh, man.
All right, we gotta keep...
He just has good game knowledge. I'll say that much. Like, he knows what's going on. Like, I'll be like, yo, Bane's got this, and he's coming towards you, and he's like, dude, saw that 10 minutes ago, but thanks. And like, and I'll call shit out, but he's aware of what they have, where they are, where they're going, where they're gonna be, and just watching his patterns of thought is making me feel like I'm a better Dota 2 player, and for that, Proud, thank you.
And I'll say thanks to Flub, Proud, and Ursa yesterday. Like playing with them, even though we were doing ridiculous shit along the way, like I do feel like I learned some valuable things along the way, just playing with them, and just a good experience. It's nice to play with people that are cool and collected, so we do need to truck through some iTunes reviews again at some point someday. We got to do more of those, but we're not going to do it today,
which is why you should leave us an iTunes review.
That's right,
because we will read it
on the show one day,
and it's a little shout out for you and a big help for us.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. It is a great way to get a little more visibility for the podcast, which is it's been fun.
You are one unit of visibility for us. Blix help.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Like, no joke. I think we've said this before, and it sounds cliched, but listeners are legitimately the best, and most of the time, the only advertising that we have available to us.
Most of the time,
I would say most. I think we ran a Google ad one time that we got for free because we signed up
for Google
create
AdWords.
the website.
No, did we?
Yeah, we did. It was like
at the start, I did a bunch of Twitter ads.
Yeah, you did some Twitter ads too.
Tons of Twitter ads.
And it was like,
it would be like $20 to promote a tweet that like Nahas comes on the show to talk about Dota. And I'm like, dude, here's a time. I'm going to promote it at 3 p.m. because they say 3 p.m. is the best time. And it would be like, 1,000 people click through. It's going to be huge. It's going to be very, very, very important.
But it, you guys really are, like, I mean, at this point, the last time we ran an ad was maybe 2 years ago. So
yeah, and we see huge growth. Our businesses have never been better. We're not going to release our viewership because
we're going through an audit right now with
a routine Libsyn audit,
and they have advised us to not release numbers.
Just trust me, it's huge. And yes,
but you guys really are
actually, like, if we released our viewership return, you guys would be pretty impressed. We've gone through no loopholes.
Yeah, no loopholes. No viewer loopholes.
We've not bought any viewer bots to listen to our show, to give us downloads.
Yeah. Anyway, but you guys really are the best source of advertising. It is how it helps to grow the show tremendously. You can also find us at defenseofthepatients.com. Email us at defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. We're waiting to find out. I will know later this week, probably on the Wednesday or Thursday show, whether Proud and Ursi got the press passes to go to the Boston Major. So we'll be sure to announce that when it's coming up. Follow us on Twitter at @P_show. Yeah, you got a comment on the Boston Major?
No, that was just me clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. You sure?
I usually have a comment on everything.
Yeah.
I feel like, I do have a comment. Not on that, though.
Now you think about it?
I really was trying to be, like, sincere and meant to be on this show.
Oh, yeah?
About, like, what I had to say about your hero pool and, like, my apology.
I'm
being honest.
I don't need an apology.
No, it took somebody telling me to shove it. Okay, for me to think about the error in my ways.
So maybe Crooked Fafnir isn't as crooked as you thought he was?
Oh, no, I can't stand Fafnir.
Oh, he's crooked.
No, I really can't stand him.
Still crooked, yeah.
I really cannot stand him. He is literally corrupt. I don't know what's been going on with his chat logs. I think everybody needs to know what's been going on with his chat logs.
He deletes chat logs all the time.
We all know that.
Missing chat logs.
And the whole Fafnir Foundation that's been going on for a long time. We all know what goes on there, but we don't need to sink to their level. Because when they go high, they go lower. Okay? Or whatever that is. Anyway, Crooked Fafnir.
When Roland gets high, you go low.
Yeah, something along those lines, not involving drugs. We're talking about, like, moral things,
sure.
compasses. But no, it did take me shoving a whole roll of paper towels in my mouth for me to realize that I was wrong back then. And thank God somebody who sits in a cubicle all day was there to let me know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I really appreciate him.
Oh, are you talking about me?
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about Crooked Fafnir.
I sit in a cubicle all day.
I know you do. But Crooked Fafnir's cubicle is way more corrupt than your cubicle, dude.
That's the most corrupt of all the...
Yeah, his cubicle is just probably... fucking Illuminati stuff there.
Yeah, most likely.
Probably stars with circles around them.
I heard he rigged the podcast.
He did rig this podcast several times. The episodes that are late are always Crooked Fafnir's fault.
Yeah. Usually delays on the interwebs.
Yep.
All the cyber.
Yep.
He's been messing with the cyber.
He is bad with the cyber.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I can say is that my kid, Charlie, he hasn't even been born yet. He could fucking do the cyber.
He could do the cyber way better than Crooked Fafnir.
Way better than Crooked Fafnir can do the cyber. So I just want to say...
I feel Fafnir's like this invisible extra character on the show often.
I know. And hey, Fafnir, up yours, dude. How's that sound?
No, shove it. That's a you.
I meant to say up yours in response to shove it, because in 5th grade, that's the type of shit that I said. But no, it is a sincere apology to you that I do realize that, like, I was just as dumb as I am now. And
we're all still bad at Dota.
I'm still bad at Dota.
Well, we're both bad at Dota.
And I guess
not the rest of the show hosts are actually pretty good.
And I guess the fact that I'm about to be a dad means that, like, I know my life's gonna end, and so I need I need to get this off my bucket list.
Right.
I need to, go on to this next chapter in my life without, like, a lot of things weighing on me.
I understand. No, we'll miss you when you're gone.
Yeah, I just want you to know that it was because I was jealous. No, for real.
My specialization, sure.
Well, that you found a role, and you and Andrew always got along, and I remember that I'd see you and Andrew playing, and my God. And I knew that. No, I'm serious.
I believe. Okay. All right.
Like,
I believe
you gotta realize you swept in and took my role from me.
Oh, you were playing support?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was Andrew's. Well, what do you think I was playing with Andrew? the 2 weeks before you started playing Dota.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Absolutely.
You
because
came
Andrew
in,
was not going to switch
tri-lanes
positions.
weren't a thing back then, dude.
We did do a little bit of tri-laning. Because we did the Lich, Skywrath, Faceless Void combo.
But I always went offlane. I was always offlane.
With Lich?
Yes. It was 2-1-2. All, dude.
Yeah, it would have made way more sense to have you in there, too.
But you...
because Skywrath's way
I wanted to lane with my big brother, and I'm serious, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I just want you to know that, like, it was all in jealousy.
And then you went on this
and Andrew would always
of banging other heroes, trying to find the right one.
No, I was doing Dagon Prophet to try and get people's attention. How low I had sunk.
Cries
not
for
buying boots,
jungling
meepos, and this whole time you and Andrew both have a big baseball cap on, a little baseball cap on, and throwing ball in the backyard, while I'm out in the jungle, fucking nature's prophet, no boots. And I'm basically like the older child, and then some new kid comes in and takes all the attention away. I want you to know that's how I felt, man. And I didn't know where to go or where to land at that point.
You can be his support now if you want.
No thanks. No, because we both grew up. We realized Dad's terrible. You know what I mean? We both grew up. We both hate Dad for different reasons.
Yeah, different reasons. It's true. You thought he wasn't abusing me. He was.
But I just remember,
you
think
I wanted to be you think I wanted to play a stun support every game?
Good stun, you got him. Double kill. Wow, great job, Cyphus. Wow, you totally sucked the mana right out of him.
I'll never forget the time he told me supports always have to have stun. He told me that one time. Support, if you're gonna play support, you always gotta have stun. And then I went and I looked at the list of like the top tier supports in the patch, and I was like, well, why do they have all these supports here that don't have stun?
Because they're still in beta.
And he was like, no, it's just because they have stun somewhere else, but we got to have stun in our lanes. And I was like, oh
man, the knowledge that he spewed out, that was so wrong, man. If we could have recorded some of those games that we got yelled at for the shit that we did. Oh, here we are. It's like a reunion show, dude, where we're all grown up and we're talking about our problems that we went through. I just want to say that, like, you were his favorite child, and it's something that I'm just going to have to live with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I got all this attention for a couple weeks, and good job. Nice. Well played.
Dude, I couldn't tell you the last time I played a game with him.
You don't want to, dude. You'll lose, and it'll be filled with rage and shame, dude. Oh.
I kind of want to play an AM and show him how it's done,
What? Wait, you'd skill blink?
Oh, man. So many times.
That was all true. I hope you I don't want to trivialize it too much. Like,
sure.
You came in and you did a better job than I could have, and so I didn't know where to go.
I don't know if that's.
I was like an orphan boy, dude. I was always the third wheel, bro. I didn't have a position. Why do you think I went to the jungle? Where would a third wheel go?
Yeah,
dude?
You cast out like fucking Mowgli, huh?
Yes, I was. People saying solo off lane, please. Well, then where do I go? I'm not a mid. And I already know who's supporting our safe lane. Well, guess I'll go to the jungle.
I would have jungled.
Why would I get boots? I don't have any friends to walk with. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the boots.
No,
the boots.
Yeah,
even on Saturday that came up, the fucking boots.
I didn't buy boots.
What did you rush on? Was it on Marana? Wasn't it Marana that you rushed an item? What
it was on Ancient Apparition.
What were you rush? Oh, you rushed Midas or something over boots? What did you rush?
I got Ags.
With no boots?
Ags Windlace, and then I went into boots.
Oh, that's right. It was Ags Windlace. Well, at least you had a Windlace.
It's like half boots. Like, I'm getting there. I'm halfway there.
At like 15 minutes into the game, I just hear Proud go, you really undervalue boots.
And then, no, Ursi said, will you buy boots, please?
Yeah, and then Proud was like, yeah, dude, you really undervalue boots.
I do.
Yeah, I know.
I'm halfway there, though.
Been preaching this for years.
But, when you grew up with daddy problems, okay?
Yeah, no,
sometimes you undervalue certain things, okay?
So really, it's all Wazoo's.
And I guess when you grow up with carry problems, not daddy problems.
Yeah.
I was cast out, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to turn this back on me or anything. I'm just saying, like,
no.
I'm sorry for talking about your low points, because I've had some low points along the way as well.
All right, well,
So I didn't mean to make this awkward.
No, it hasn't been an awkward podcast at all.
I just, I didn't know what to do, and Nature's Prophet seemed like a pretty good choice. And
At .p_show is our Twitter handle.
Yep. You can close it. And you shouldn't feel bad. I mean,
no,
you were a better support than I ever could have been.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
No, yeah.
Yep. Did I miss any plugs? Twitch.tv/.ptv, where you can watch things like the Extra Life event that we did on Saturday.
Go vote.
YouTube.com/.ptv1, where you can find this podcast. Theory Craft Thursday videos, Fafnir's replay analysis. Discord.gg/.p. If you want to join the Discord and actually meet Fafnir, Crooked Fafnir, in person, you can chat at him and sign up for a replay review at the subreddit.
No, you don't want to chat with Fafnir.
Defense of the Patience is our subreddit.
All it is salt and fucking coal.
No, it's not. It's actually really awesome. our Discord and our subreddit
salt and coal
are both awesome, really places. Really great places, full of very nice people that are always looking to queue. All right, guys, that's gonna be it because this is a long episode and it's late and I'm ready to go to bed. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, this is Cyphus for Roland saying good luck.